Good evening. Hello. Oh, look at you guys already talking away. What do we have? Yes, Patty, you're first. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my goodness. Alicia, hello. Sunflower Marsha. Bex, good evening to you. Look at you guys all ready to rock and roll here tonight. Kiri, good evening to you. Um, Trying to get your second new printer from Canon working about when the paper wouldn't catch to print. Oh, yeah, technology, right? Printers, computers, all that stuff. I know. I get it. I like Canon products. I'm trying to see what mine is. I think mine's a Canon. I have a Canon. What is it? It's an older one, MG6821. So, Ricky, hello for you. How are you? I mean, just like, oh, you need to print your soap labels. Oh, wow. Alicia, that's great business you're doing there. 500. Wow. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's tough. I have considered actually my next printer, I'm going to go bite the bullet and get a laser printer. And I know, I mean, they're not $4,000 anymore, but you still spend maybe 400 on them. But at the same time, here, I don't use my printer all that often. And in the dry air, especially all through winter, my the ink in my cartridges ends up drying up. And even though the printer itself only cost me like $45 or something, it was my set of ink to buy it every time I need it is $85. And it's like, if I'm doing that 2 or 3 times a year, it's I just cringe every time I have to get them. But like, I just put the last of my last batch in here yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And so it takes 5 cartridges, so you've got your magenta, yellow, blue, and black, and then a super black. So this one does. So it's a black regular size, and then a extra large size. So they call it super or something. But because that's what you use most of, and so I'm like, but if it was a laser, it's a powder, not cartridge, but like a canister almost in there, and so it won't dry out because it's already powder, and so and it'll just be in there when I need it. So, and granted, they're more expensive to replace, but if one canister lasts me 2 years, I mean, it's going to be worth it, So that's what I'm thinking anyway. Trying to do that. So, Dave, good evening to you. The ink is where companies make money. Exactly. What brands are a laser? Probably all the same that you would find a regular one. Just you'd have to start researching. I haven't done that yet because mine's still working fine, but at some point I'm just going to be like, enough's enough. I don't want to waste any more ink. But sorry, I missed a bunch here. Yours is, yeah, I just have not had luck with HPs. I just really don't. A Pixma, interesting. Your text sound says printers are the bane of their that I can believe. Oh, good, Patty. That's good to hear. And also, laser, you can do like glossy labels. Because I had a customer, a couple of them that do like labels for their jars and different things like that. And so I was just thinking, that's what I was thinking about, Alicia, for you to do, if you wanted labels that weren't going to run, if they get wet or something, especially when you're dealing with that many, pieces, the items with soap. Not that people's hands are going to be wet when they handle the thing, but when you sell it and they bring it home, and they're opening up the soap to use it or something like that, and their hands are wet or something. It's not going to get run. Ink is not going to run anywhere. All that kind of stuff. So I think overall, I think it is a better investment, especially if you're doing it for business. If you're just doing it for home stuff and just printing up a spreadsheet here and there or whatever, or a letter, um, then it's probably not worth it. But anyway, yeah, those printers. So, oh, you're welcome, Alicia. Pretty much all manufacturers do laser. Yeah, every big copy machine you ever seen is. Yep, yep. So, Epson printer with liquid ink in bags. Oh, 2,000 copies per small printer. Interesting. Yeah, the toner. Thank you. Yeah, it's. I was blitzing on that word. So, yes, it's just like a copy machine cartridge with the toner and stuff like that. So, yep. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You can print laser toner onto the right plastic material and make iron-on transfers. Yes, there's so many things you can do with laser. Absolutely, because you can buy the sheets of glossy labels and stuff like that, and um, it wouldn't be like the roll type of ones, but sheets of them. And I think Uprint, is it Uprint that has a bunch of labels? I can't remember. It's been a while since I bought them, but had a couple customers that have wanted a bunch of those. And yeah, you could, put a dozen labels on a sheet or whatever it is, and whatever size you need, and do that. But yeah, one customer did labels for jars of jam and stuff that a customer was making, or one of their customers was making for their store. So they needed labels. So I did a bunch of those. They were also doing containers of different teas and oils and a whole line of that I designed up all of the labels for, like all their essential oils and stuff like that. So it was just, it's great because it prints to that, it sticks. You don't have to worry about it smudging, running, anything like that. So it's really good. You have to get the right paper, but you can only run those through laser printers. So yeah, excellent. Okay, you can use it for your artwork too. So yes, there's so many things you can put through. Absolutely. Okay. Well, a whole new world there, right? Whole new world. Well, guys, I have now spent like 3 afternoons out in my garden. It felt so good. It was no longer 90 something degrees, so which really did help. But so it's like Friday, Saturday, and today. So did some cleanup in the front yard, and then I've been working on clearing out my beds because they were they were well overgrown. And I got to show you a picture. I've been meaning to post this today, but I took this picture Saturday before I pulled them all. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but I'm going to. In one bed, I had a chamomile field. No, in 2 beds, I'm sorry. One bed was like all chamomile, the other bed was chamomile and onions. So as you can see, they were quite ripe for picking. I mean, if I needed chamomile, I would have just been in there and picking them all, like kinds of stuff. But I know, Patty, right? Yay, garden time. It did, and it was so lovely. Saturday, it was like 71 degrees for the high, and it was like a northwest breeze, and it was just gorgeous. Oh my goodness, it was beautiful. Today was a little bit warmer. It was like 81, but very dry. So it's going to be the nicest it's going to be for a little while. So I was like, okay, get out there and do it. I still have 4 beds left to do out of the 13. I think so. But anyway, I've got one completely planted with Royal Burgundy. Woohoo! So I know, Patty, right? And oh my goodness, because they were so ripe, and it was windy though too, which didn't help. But every time I would touch it to pull them up, it'd be like. So I had like a gazillion seeds in the soil. As careful as I was trying to, it just, I even like cut the tops off and put them in a bag right away. And then was pulling them up, and it was just like, so I'll have chamomile popping up for probably 10 years. So um, when it rains, it pours chamomile. Yes. Um, Even harvesting sunflowers you never planted. The goats are happy. Very good. Hi, Lynn. Good evening to you. Oh, I know, right? It has been so nice. When it gets so hot so quickly, it's really hard to get out there and deal with it because we're just not used to it. I mean, our bodies have been accustomed to below freezing and below zero temperatures for 5 months. And it's like when you just throw us into 90 degrees, it's like, that's hard. It's tough. So anyway, just finally felt good enough out there and took a little break from work and being able to do that. And I wanted to get out earlier today, but work kind of kept me tied in here a little bit longer. But anyway, I have 3 more beds. So I planted a 4x6 bed of just all purple beans, purple bush beans. And I have 3 more beds completely ready to go. All my onions were getting really big. So it's like, I thought they didn't like being crowded out by the chamomile though. So that was a little bit tragic for them. Oh my goodness. Patty, hello, how are you? Rebel Canners, good evening. Oh my goodness. Kira, you just cannot keep an AC unit there. You poor thing. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're going to be an electrician by the time you get done with all of this. Oh my goodness. Rebel Canners, just welcome. Welcome to my craziness on Monday night here. So, but anyway, it felt so good to get out. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I finally, and I was really pushing the time here this afternoon, just getting that one bed cleaned out and all ready to go. And it's like, no, I'm going to plant it. I've got to come back to you guys tonight and say I planted something. So, but anyway, so all of those lovely chamomile plants, I did not harvest them. Well, I guess you could say I harvested the whole plants and put them in a trash bag. So, but anyway, so I've got one ready to plant my peppers, which I bought peppers, but and then I have another one ready for my herbs. I've got another one ready for more beans. I am thinking, oh, well, Patty, you have a whole new thing to build. So don't, even if you can't get anything planted this year, just building is a huge, huge thing. It'll take everything out of you just to do that. What was I going to say? I got distracted now. Oh, I know what I was going to say. This year, I mean, I've got all kinds of seeds. I've got seeds for everything, but this isn't necessarily late to get in. I'm pushing the boundaries though, because I probably have 90 days here till first frost. So what I'm thinking is to do more short-term things. I'll probably do a lot of beans this year. I need beans. Not planting tomatoes. I still have peas from last year, so I don't know if I'm going to do any peas or not. and I'm going to go through the rest of my seeds and everything, but I'm going to try to do a lot of herbs that I can. Um, onions, of course, and but maybe just beans and just space them out a little bit more. I don't know. I want to do shorter term things so that I have, because I have to be gone in October and in November. And so I'm just like, I want to make sure that I have time to get everything done. Oh, and that's the other thing I want to do after shorter term so that afterwards I can plant cover crops in my beds because they really need that in there for the microbes that we're going to talk about some more. So I want to try to do that and be able to do that. I mean, I could succession plant all these beans and everything, but I still want to be able to be done, I think, by beginning of August, if I can. And then get a good cover crop in there so that I can have that in and you kind of just, clip it down before winter and then just keep it in there over winter. And then turn it over in the spring. So that's my thought. My thought. I could start broccoli and cauliflower indoors in Trent. I could do that. You have tomatoes you put in containers. Oh, that's good. Yay, Patty. I can do peas and lettuce. That I could do in the fall. Yes, I can do that. I've got my green stock, so I'm thinking about doing lettuce in my green stock. Peas are a possibility that, but I'm not sure yet. So nicely did. Yes. There's white on the top of your soil of your tomato plants. They're inside. It sounds like a mold or a fungus to me, doesn't it? Patty and Dave, you might have better ideas on that. Someone ate your spring pea plants. Kiri, they just think that you're planting for them and for their benefit. It's they. You poor thing. You try so hard to plant your garden. I'm sorry, I need to plug in here. They're just all after it. I'm sorry for you. Oh, goodness sakes. You've been using pea and oat mix for cover crop. It dies back and mulches. You don't even need to cut it down. Oh, okay. I have a bag of something that I got a couple of years ago that I need to use, and I'm trying to remember what I think it might be a rye. I'm not sure, but I'll have to look into that too. Pea oat mix. I like that play on words of planted in fall. I like that. You want to add daikon radish to your mix now. Ooh. That sounds good. That sounds really good. So, all right. So last week we were, what am I? I was going to say, yesterday morning we got down to 43 degrees. It was so wonderful. I actually had to turn the furnace on for like 20 minutes just to get the deep chill out of the house. I could have done fine, but it was just a little too cold. But anyway, and then turn the air conditioning. I know it's crazy, but it was like, I felt so good. But tomorrow we're supposed to be back up into the upper 80s, so it'll be back. But it was a really nice break. We're still pretty dry. We've had a little spotty rain here and there, but we're really in a deficit. Everything's really dry. But let me see. I'm reading my notes here. Okay, so I'll get back to my microbe thing. The dog who chewed the AC cord is in front of the fan block. You have such selfish animals. Oh, Kiri, you poor thing. White is probably mold or mildew. Okay. Overwatering it. What I would do is scrape off the surface soil there and yeah, overwatering. So, and maybe just try to, if they're in your little pots, take a fork or something and just kind of work it up, but just try to scrape all that off. So that might work. So, um, yeah, Dave, I've used that too. So, Grandma Karen, hello. How are you? Morning low was high 70s. Oh, I know those days are hard. So, frozen? What was frozen? Me or the or the soil? No, I don't think your soil was frozen, but like Dave said, it's probably some overwatering there. But anyway, okay. So we're talking about soil and microbes and different things like that. So, sorry about my hair popping up there. Looks like I feel like who's that little kid on an old show? I've drawn a blank. I could see him. He's oh, I know who. Patty, you know exactly. Yes, the Little Rascals. I was going to say, Patty, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Little Rascals. So, alfalfa. There you go. Thank you, Rebel Canners. Oh, I feel like that sometimes. Okay, I've got notes all over the place here. I got to try to find stuff. So, um, before I get on to the microbes, I had a note that popped up about the nutrients that plants need. So, if all of you are growing, you're getting into that point where, okay, what will my plants need for what they're doing at this point in time? So anything as it's growing and it needs to grow and be green and develop the plant and everything, it needs more nitrogen. Nitrogen makes green plants. Okay. Um, when it gets to the point where it should start blossoming and everything, you need to start making sure it has enough phosphorus. And that helps it blossom. I'm drawing a blank at um, what things would be natural phosphorus. You guys might need to help me out on that. But so anyway, phosphorus helps the blossoms develop out. So if your plants are looking like, say you have a bean plant and you've got like 3 blossoms on it instead of 30 or 40 that should be on there or whatever, you're like, why is it not doing it? It's because it's low on phosphorus. Your soil is. So make sure you get something that would be like Blossom Care or something like that would have higher phosphorus type of things. Um, alfalfa nature. Oh, on the TV it was frozen. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Um, do you have a selfish spell? Sorry, you can stuck your head in the milk. Oh my goodness. You need to crack the whip out there a little bit, Kiri. Oh, goodness sakes. So yes, for blossoms need phosphorus. And then as they start your blossoms and then they start putting out their fruit, then they're going to need more potash. And so potash would be your ash, your wood ash, your different things like that. Or potassium. Potassium is potash type of thing. So anyway, that will help things fruit out. Your tomatoes, when they start to develop out, make sure they get extra calcium so they don't get blossom end rot. So those are a couple little tweaky things there. So hey Caitlin, how are you? And so all right, I will click off of that note. I've got them all over the place here. Okay? So we were talking about the microbes and kind of things that need that we can add to our soil to feed our soil to the things that we do. So there's different things that we can add to it. There's where did I do it? So we need to have like brown, green, and black mixture to make a really good soil. Now the black is your soil, because it's your dirt. That's what's in there. Now that's not going to be sufficient in itself for growing vegetables. So you need to get a better balance of it. So um, for every one part of black, you need one part of green, which would be like your different things. That's your nitrogen that's going into your soil. And then for one part of black, one part of green, you need 3 parts of brown, which is your carbon. And that's going to be, the microbes are going to be eating that up like crazy. So good point. Good point, Patty. Very good. Um, so 1 part black, 1 part green, 1 part brown. So the green that you can add to your soil for nitrogen, everything would be like aged chicken manure. You wouldn't think that is green, but it is. Um, so don't use fresh, that will burn everything. But aged chicken manure, food scraps, vegetable scraps, um, coffee grounds are very high. So um, there are some that are much higher than others in their nitrogen content and everything. But if coffee grounds are very high, so you'd think though that would be brown or almost a black or something, but it's like, no, it's considered green because of the nutrients that it puts in there. So we're looking for nitrogen-based stuff. Coffee grounds, work that into your soil. Food scraps again, vegetable scraps. I wouldn't put like a whole banana peel in your soil or something like that. You need to chop it up or grind it up or do whatever, but or make a compost pile out of these scraps and let them break down. Okay. Grass clippings, we talked about that last week, but the fresh ones, dry ones would be a little higher in carbon. So they would be used more as a carbon source than if you had dry grass clippings. Okay, my picture is cut off here. Sorry. Oh, that is the end of it. Okay. Fresh weeds, but you want to make sure there's no seeds in them. Unless your pile gets really, really hot, if you're making compost and everything. If it gets over 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 Celsius. So if you're taking the temperature of your pile or at all. Any fruit waste, rotted manure. Do not use horse manure because that contains undigested seeds that can actually sprout in your compost bin. So make phosphorus fertilizer with chopped banana peel and apple cider vinegar. Ooh, this sounds really good. Oh my goodness, look at that. Thank you, Patty. I am going to screenshot that one. Yeah, very good. Okay, thank you. Humus, again, is it's not as high in nitrogen and everything. Seaweed is another really good one for building up that nitrogen in your soil. Right, so then brown, so remember you have 1 part black, 1 part green, 3 parts brown, mostly because it's already dead stuff. And so there's not as much nutrients in it and living organisms and different things like that in there. So that is where the microbes will still get in there and eat everything up, though. Hey, Donna, good evening to you. So leaves, huge, huge what do I want to say? it's it's a great beneficial in the way that they're so easily accessible. Okay, so if you got trees around, you've got leaves, and if you've got leaves, you've got dead leaves and carbon for your soil. So just try to figure out how you're going to use them. If you need to bag them for the winter or whatever, and put them in your garage or something, and or just throw them out in your garden, or do whatever you need to do them, or just create um, a little wire fenced area that you're just going to fill with leaves, and probably going to have a lot of mice in there for the winter. But anyway, leaves are great. Leaves. Um, Baking soda in it too. Oh, okay. I'll better screenshot again then here. Chop banana peels, because I just throw my banana peels away. That's great. You bruise, add 2 tablespoons in water, gallon of water with, boy, those sound really, really good. So phosphorus, again, to help your blossoms, help your plants blossom out. So if you planted, 3 or 4 weeks ago at least, and your plants are just thriving and coming up, and they're starting to get ready to blossom, it's time to put that phosphorus in there. Your chicken manure is both green and brown. Okay, very good. Very good. So that's why when you put it in there with the straw and the wood chips or whatever, and it's all mixed together and it breaks down together, excellent. That's why it's used so widely. So straw and hay are excellent carbon things. So they work really, really best if you can shred them, break them down so that they can break down faster. I'm going to interject right now a little bit. So because microbes are microorganisms, they're microscopic. There's so little in everything. If you take, a chunk of something that's this big, it's going to take a while for them to break it down, right? Because it's like, really, okay. So they're, trying to eat up this. But if you tear off this little piece and put this in there, it's going to be a lot easier for them to eat it than this whole thing. And so they're going to go after this, and it's like, they just chew that up and everything, and it's like, and turn that into something else. So if you have, things that you want to shred and put in there, the smaller the particles are that go in there, the easier it is for the microbes to chew it up, to eat it, to turn it into good soil. And the faster it's going to happen. I mean, you can still throw a log in the bottom of your bed, and over time it's going to decompose. But if you have shredded wood or wood chips that can go in there, those are going to break down a lot faster. So oh my goodness, 160. Wow. That's gonna combust in there, isn't it? All of a sudden it's like smoking. It's like, Dave, what's that out there? Oh, that's just my chicken poop smoking. You guys have had some fresh air and I'm a little tired, so it's like, sorry. You need to clean your chicken coop. Yeah, it's, you've got so many animals, Kira. You've got all of the great soil making stuff there. Sawdust is another really good one, Dave, with those logs that you just hauled in, and all of your things. I just love those sawmills that you guys have. There's several people have them, and I just think they're amazing to have, because it's like, what a great use for all the things that you have around you. I think it's just great. So sawdust, if you don't have one or don't have access to anything, go to like a lumber yard or something, and where they are actually cutting up boards and planks and timber and different things like that. and see if they've got it, because they've got to be, cleaning up piles of it. And it's like, what do they do with it? So just go and see if there's a particular time of the week that they would have more, and see if you can come and just collect it. Even if they sweep it into a pile and you just bag it up or something, or put it in a box or whatever, and then take it home. You've got some sawdust. It works really, really well. um, so they're giving um, the ratios there of the potency of all of these things, and it's like aged chicken manure is 7-1, for and I'm not sure, because it doesn't say what the ratio is compared to, but anyway, and then food scraps were 17-1, vegetable scraps were 25-1, coffee grounds were 25-1. Leaves are 60-80-1. Straw and hay is 90-1 is the ratio. I think it's how much, I don't know. Anyway, sawdust is 500-1 is the ratio. I was like, woo. 500-1, so it is crazy. Woody chips and twigs are 700-1. So, but it said to be sparing. The best use is in small material at the bottom of your bin or your pile. So if you're making your compost bin, put them at the bottom so that the microbes can start eating the stuff that's smaller at the top and in the middle and everything, and then they can work their way down, because that's going to stay moist down there. It's going to stay dark. It's going to rot a lot better, all that kind of stuff. So I've gotten free oak bark chips for free from a guy who sells oak firewood. Nice. Very, very good. I have been on the list for years to have wood chips dumped here from the companies that go around and chip tree limbs and stuff, and I've never gotten them. I think I'm just like too far out of the way or something. They don't want to bother. I don't know. But biochar, yes. It's like a sponge that absorbs all the. Oh, very, very good. Yes, biochar. We're missing Howie here tonight because he's like the biochar king. Yep. Chip drop is okay. Good. I'm glad I'm not the only one having trouble. Okay. So just go straight to the tree service. That would be better. Yeah, because buying bags, I mean, when I have to cover a new layer of wood chips in my garden, I need like 30 bags, and they're $3 a bag. That's not cheap. So, just a walk on it. So anyway, shredded newspaper is another good one. You don't want to throw a whole bundle in at one time, just take this bundle and just, here you go. Take the time, shred it up, tear it up, have a shredding party or something, So chip drop will drop logs without notice too, my friend. Oh, okay. Nutshells are good. I find random nutshells in my garden. They're the black walnut shells that my neighbor has trees of, but the squirrels are so kind to distribute. So they just bring them over and say, here, have some nutshells. So every once in a while I'll find them, as I turning up my dirt and stuff. So it's great. Pine needles, but use those very sparingly because they're very acidic and waxy. They don't break down very, very quickly. Corn stalks, again, you have to try to chop them up, all that kind of stuff. Peat moss is another really good one. And then my image got cut off. So there are other things you can do, definitely. You lost me? Am I still here? There's an option for limbs or logs at chip drop sites. Oh, yeah. So anyway, there's all kinds of different materials that you can do. So again, brown, dead leaves, wood chips, sawdust, old hay, waste hay, rock dust, newspaper, cardboard, napkins, um, paper plates, coffee filters, coffee grounds, and gypsum board. Um, if you had a wood stove, you wouldn't mind lives. Okay. Um, green. Oh, there's some more green things other than grass clippings, manure, damaged hay, fresh weeds, raw fish, cattails, lake or seaweeds, salad buffet scraps. If you live near a restaurant, the salad buffets, ask them for their garbage. I wonder if they can do that, if OSHA allows that, or the FDA, whatever, whoever's in charge of all that. I don't know if you. I suppose if it's just like a little mom and pop, maybe you could do that. So yeah, all your kitchen scraps, exactly. Produce waste from the grocery store, bread or bakery items, eggs, eggshells, ground animal bones, animal blood, and milk. So when you make your bone broth, and if you cook it down until the bones are just really almost falling apart and everything, take those, just start, put those in your garden, incorporate those all in there. That'd be awesome. Um, and then the black, again, your own soil, wood ashes, and compost is your black. Chip drop never worked for you. You did walk out and flag the truck down. That works too. Okay. So anyway, on to the microbes. I think we got to page 5 or something. Let me see. Yeah, we talked about the rhizobia, which are the ones for the colonize the roots of the legumes. There's the arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi. They improve nutrient uptake, especially in phosphorus limited, saline or drought prone soils. And they can improve the soil structure over time. Trichoderma is another fungi living in plants. Then you have the beneficial bacteria like bacillus. There's penicillin, or not penicillin, an antibiotic made from a bacillus something. So anyway, I think we went through those. Some tips for keeping native microbes happy. Oops, I'm covering you guys up. I need to get back here. You get pin oaks, filberts, and maple tree seedlings, squirrels, and jays. Oh yeah, I've got trees growing everywhere that are brand new little seedlings of trees that I don't even have on my property, so they've flown in from other places. So okay. So by fostering healthy soils, you also foster healthy soil microbes. Again, apply compost to your soil, ideally every year. Now, some compost is going to be really high in phosphorus. That's what helps things bloom. Okay, so you might need to add nitrogen things to it. Okay, so in order to help it grow right away, but it should be good. Use cover crops when you're not actively growing vegetables. So again, that's what I'm hoping to do this year after I get my beans out, put a cover crop in, and just let it go. So it's going to keep down the weeds It'll foster the microbes in there. It'll be my green manure for my soil, all that kind of stuff. So that'll be really good. Okay. So some tips for cultivating soil bacteria and garden microbes. So plants and microbes have evolved together for hundreds of millions of years. Their connection is a basic building block for Earth's terrestrial ecosystems. Today, scientists recognize microorganisms as key contributors to plant growth and health. In the garden, all those invisible microbes can make or break your growing season. So, the first the first one is be a fun guy. That's what it says here. Be a fun guy. So, hey, Joy, no worries at all. Use my mycorrhizal inoculant. So my core is, I don't know. Am I saying that even right, Patty? Mycorrhiza. The tiny fungal filaments known as mycelia that weave themselves throughout a plant's roots. Technically, fungi don't have roots, but mycorrhiza are structurally and functionally similar. These tiny fungal fibers wrap around roots, helping them extract water and nutrients from the soil. They also protect roots from predators and in return receive plentiful carbohydrates from the plants. So, so those are so important. They get water from the soil for the roots of the plants and everything. An inoculant is available from numerous online sources or your local lawn and garden store. You'd have to look at it up, but it says to apply it, rub the powder on the root ball or sprinkle it in the hole when you're planting a plant or a tree or a bush or whatever it is like that. You can also mix it directly with seeds before planting. Interesting. Oh, Patty, have you ever done that? Or Dave? So anyway, sprinkling it on the seeds and then planting it. That's an interesting way to do it. I had never thought of that. If you want to grow beneficial garden microbes, placing them directly into the soil is a good start. So putting your seeds right in the soil. So there's something about direct sowing rather than transplanting, different things. I mean, we transplant because we're trying to give them a better start. We can start them earlier, get them done earlier, have a longer growing season with all that. But there's something to be said about just direct sowing things. So ASMR. Yeah, Caitlin, you're going to have to explain that one. I don't know what you're talking about. ASMR vids. Slide. All right, so that's the ones using an inoculant to help those microbes there on the seeds and root balls. The next thing would be to mulch. Adding a layer of mulch can work wonders for garden microbes, especially if you use compost. Mulch repels the sun's rays, cooling the soil on hot days. So you ever been out there with your bare soil and, if you don't have anything mulched and it's 90, 100 degrees out there or something, and you get in there and that soil is so hot. Well, just think of your plants. I mean, some of them love the heat and everything, but not that hot. And so it gets that hot where it's warmer than your body temperature. And the soil has absorbed all that heat. That's going to start cooking your roots, right? It's going to cook your plants. And so you want to try to keep them a little bit cooler in there. So mulching it is a huge way to keep your soil a little cooler, which I think is awesome. Such a great idea. So mulch. I am a huge fan of mulch and everything. One of the things that took me so long in prepping that bed today was that I had used shredded paper in that bed. I was beans before, and I had a really good layer of shredded paper down in there. I never took it up last fall, and so, but now it was like a solid hard almost top where I could break pieces off and pull them up, which was kind of nice because I had a bunch of elm tree seeds on there. So I was just like breaking them up and then pulling on there. But underneath this soil was wonderful. It wasn't hard. It was still moist. It was just a lot of stuff going on in there. So it was like, it kept, because I didn't clean it up in the fall, I just left that. There was a lot of activity going on under there. So it was kind of neat. And it was cool. So it repels this on hot days. It also acts as a moisture bearer, trapping humidity below the surface during summer months, of course. Compost is an especially effective mulch because it leaches beneficial nutrients into the soil. It's also teeming with, you guessed it, beneficial plant microbes. In fact, compost contains a diverse array of plant bacteria not found in commercial inoculants. If you want to colonize your garden with soil bacteria, start by spreading a thick layer of black gold. Then you can make some of your own probiotics. Remember, these are microbes. They're probiotics are part of all that, the microbials. It's entirely possible to brew your own garden microbes using a few simple materials. All you need is a jar, some molasses, a little water, and some dirt. Well, that's pretty simple. Home-brewed microbial mix can be sprayed directly onto plant foliage or diluted in water to increase its volume. Remember, the idea is to colonize the garden with healthy, biodiverse soil bacteria. Also, more isn't always better. If you've always wanted to try home brewing, start with a cocktail, just a little bit of it, of thriving plant microbes. So don't just go all out and just like drench everything. Start with just a little bit. The other thing would be worms. Worms. If compost is black gold, worm castings are black platinum. They're plentiful in nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and numerous micronutrients. They're also bursting with a vast array of garden microbes. If you want access to an endless supply, build your own wormery. I don't know how they would last for me in the winter. Worms just go underground, don't they, in the winter? If I kept them above ground, they wouldn't do very well, I don't think. Oh, cool, Dave. Cool. So anyway, they explain how you can do your own worms. So again, microorganisms are microscopic. Let's do this. In a single tablespoon of soil, 1 tablespoon, there are 50 billion microbes. 50 billion in 1 tablespoon. It's like of soil. It's like, where's the dirt then? It's like 50 billion microbes. It's like, is that an illusion? Am I just having like one little spot of dirt and the rest are all microbes that are crawling all around or whatever? I don't know. But anyway, they love dirt. They love dirt and they love the stuff we put in there to keep it healthy. So anyway, they break down organic matter. They cycle the nutrients and the water to our plants and our crops. The whole carbon thing. Oh, I'm probably not going to do that then, Dave. I don't have a very good or big basement at all, but it's like, yeah, it's I see that asking for trouble if I did that. Uh, okay. Let's see, I'm just reading through here. Sorry. So again, compost, cover crops, keep your soil well watered. The microbes need that moisture. Okay. Oh, there you go, Kiri. Yeah. All those little microbes coming in with you, right? So keep your soil well watered, avoid physical disturbances, mulch your beds, avoid pesticides. That's another big thing. So no Roundup in your garden. That'll kill off anything there. So there's also different microbes are affected by the climate and the temperature and the different things like that. So their populations can double with every 10-degree Fahrenheit change in temperature. So if you think of the tropics compared to the Arctic region, every 10-degree drop in temperature, you lose the microbes. Every 10-degree increase in temperature, they double and everything. So again, the soil depth makes a difference in there. I got a whole bunch here that I forgot to highlight. I just thought this whole thing with the climate and the soil temperature was really interesting. Oh yes, so if we compare the tropics to colder Arctic regions, we find most of the carbon is tied up in trees and vegetation above ground. In the tropics, the topsoil has very little soil organic matter. The topsoil has very little soil organic matter in the tropics because of the high temperatures and the moisture. It quickly decomposes everything, so it stays kind of surface and everything. As you go further north, the tundra has a large amount of soil organic matter because of not only the freezing temperatures, but everything goes down deeper. Grass has, like prairie grasses, are huge on going deep because of better soil microbes and everything, because the roots go so deep and they're just down in there. So it's just really, really amazing. I'm running out of time again here. So, but anyway, and I don't think I'm going to go do a third week at all, but it was just really interesting to think, because you think, well, the tropics is super rich soil and all this other kind of stuff, but which they do, but at the same time, your prairie grasses have very, very rich soil underneath those and all that kind of stuff. So, hey, Howie, we're all done now. Sorry, sorry you missed it here, but so anyway, there's a bunch of stuff. If you guys want to read more about everything, I've got all the links below. There's a bunch of stuff, and it's all good stuff. It's all great. Again, thanks, Howie. I think I covered everything I really wanted to. My prep tip for tonight is develop an old timer's skill. So, like, for example, my suggestion for today would be for washing your clothes by hand in a sink or tub. Maybe have a clean plunger that you've never used in the toilet and you don't plan to. And you can plunge the clothes. That just pushes the dirt through the fibers and stuff like that. You could even check into getting an old washing board or something, but learn that skill for, in case we can't get the washing machines, or, yours breaks down, you can't get one, or you don't have electricity or whatever. So anyway, think about that and just get that skill. So you might think in your mind, it's like, okay, I know how it's all done, everything, but actually doing it, um, it does a whole different thing for you. So anyway, that was my tip for tonight. So you guys, we're done. That was a fast hour. And I thank you so much for being here. Thank you for my moderators. Thank you. Oh, Vani, hello. Um, yeah, roundup is not good. Oh, I'm so sorry. Magreed, oh, good night. Thank you for being here. So you guys take care. God bless. Always have hope. And we will see you next week. All right. Take care. Oh, and happy Father's Day to all of you fathers out there. Good night.